Hi, it's Alexis. I'm expert in relationship recovery. I can help you get back with your ex. And in today's video, I'm going to explain you the 7 signs that you are still attractive. And it's something we hear very often from our clients. When there's a breakup, they lose confidence in themselves and think that they can't attract anymore, they can't seduce anymore. And I'm going to tell you there are actually signals that tells you that you're still very attractive. Trust me. The first one is, and it's very counterintuitive, is that you don't get any compliments. You don't hear people saying, "Oh, you have a nice haircut," or nice whatever. You look slim, or you're quite fit, and so on. The reason is that people tend to give only negative comments. And for example, I've worked on myself to praise people because in the past I would usually sort of tease and be very, very not mean, but always sort of point out when they have like a shitty haircut or a shitty dress or a shitty pair of jeans. And you'll tend to see that most people, they only tell you when something's wrong rather than something's good. So don't freak out if you don't have any compliments. That's normal. The second one is whenever you get compliments, you reject them. So you might hear that, let's say you're a woman and you have a nice dress and people compliment you on that dress. You might think, and say you're pretty, you're very pretty. You might say, it's just because I dressed up, I have a nice dress and I bought some, new stuff, new clothes and stuff, and the people would compliment me just because of my look and the outfit. Well, you could always think that it's because of something else, so don't undervalue yourself. The third one, and it's quite interesting, try to see if in the street people do like this. So the third thing is people would look at you a bit longer than usual. They would notice you, and so you'll have eye contact with people. I don't know, your barista at your local coffee place would sort of look you a little bit longer than usual. That's a sign that you're still very attractive and that you can seduce. The fourth one is around, and it's quite interesting, it's around the eyebrows. It's something in the non-verbal communication. It's very interesting when someone looks at you like this. It means that you're interesting, that you're captivating, and that's a sign of seduction. So look, next time you see people listening at you and watching you like this, that's a sign that they're eager to learn. They're like, oh yeah, she or he is very interesting. Which brings me to the other point, the fifth point is people love talking with you. You're an interesting person, and that's some people think seduction is all about the look. Well, no, it's all about if you're interesting, if you attract people to talk with you, that's seduction, that's attraction. So that's the fifth point is people tend to talk with you a little bit longer than usual. The sixth one, again, it's very common, is I'm sure you have complex. And when you talk about them, you'll hear that people say like, why do you have a complex on your hands? But I never noticed that your hands were, ugly, or I find them normal. What about, you have people with have complex on their nose, their eyes, their knees sometimes, and people are like, as soon as you start speaking with your friends, they're like, well, you shouldn't have any complex like that. So it's a bit of confidence issue as well. Acknowledge that what you think is ugly isn't seen like that from other people. We always tend, and it's also part of our brain, we're always very critical about ourselves, and we always tend to see the negative things, when in most of the case there's nothing wrong with it. And it's just our perception. We are very hard on ourselves, our perception of ourselves, of our bodies. So yeah, complexes, don't take that straight on. And the seventh one is also very important, is and it's quite tricky to understand, but it's you intimidate people. So if you're not interesting, everybody would love you, because you don't represent a threat. But if you're interesting, if you have charisma, if you have the attitude, you know, you're standing up, you'll sort of split the crowd into people who are really eager and would really want to speak with you, and other would be either jealous or people who would be intimidated and would be like, wow. And we've always seen that with you know, really, really hot guys or really, really hot girl. Nobody would speak with them because they're so intimidating. But actually, if you think about it, if you go to parties, if you hang out with people, it's not necessarily the hottest guy or girl who would be the most interesting or have the most people talking with them. It's actually the one with charisma, the one with the attitude. And that's the thing I want you to remember. It's all about the attitude. So don't think too much about your physical, because at the end of the day, and I will wrap up with this, it's all about the self-esteem. If you want to get your ex back, sure, you need to be attractive, you need to be able to seduce your ex again, but it's also about loving yourself, the self-esteem. And it's not about physical things, it's about understanding who you are, being an interesting person. Very often, you'll see that successful couples, they're not based on whether they are both attractive physically. It's all they are attractive, in their heart, in their mind, in their brains, and they work at the same pace. They learn and love the same things, and they grow together. But it's based on the internal beauty, and it's a bit cheesy. Okay, fair enough, but that's how, if you look at couples who've been there together for 50, 60 years, it's not about the look. When you're 80 years old, you're not gonna love your wife because she's hot, simply put. So love yourself. A lot of self-esteem would really help you in terms of self-esteem, in terms of attitude, and that could really, really help getting your ex back. So I hope you tick some of these 7 signs. Maybe you have 6 or 5 of them. That's enough to re-engage and speak with your ex and seduce your ex potentially. Feel free to comment in this video if you have any other signs you might have seen, if you thought that video was helpful, and I'll see you next time.